Guys, leads are going to be illegal. Everything is going to be different here coming up soon. Actually, by the time you're watching this video, it may have already happened. So let me just make it quick as possible. The FCC has decided that they needed to do something to get rid of the robocalls. And so what they're doing is going to affect most insurance agents and most insurance agencies, especially the big multi-level marketing companies, the MLMs, who love reselling leads. And first, I'm going to explain exactly what happened. And then what I'm going to do is basically break down a quick summary as to who exactly this is going to affect. And hopefully you're not going to be on that list. Again, if you're watching this video and it is after May of 2024, and you're using a telemarketed lead, a live transfer lead, which was generated from like buying one of those data lists or a telemarketer, or if you're using any type of second chance lead, already been given to a specific agent and already been worked by that agent, you are doing something that is non-compliant, illegal. You're risking your insurance license. Really, it would take a lot to get to that point. But really what you're doing is you're risking getting fined out of the business. And thankfully, I am one of the insurance agency owners that gets to say this is not going to affect any of our agents because of the way we generate our leads and because of our appointment system, where our agents are actually getting 20 to 30 appointments every single day of people expecting a call from that specific insurance agent. All right, I want to start by reading something to you. Prior express written consent for a call or text may be to a single entity or to multiple entities logically and topically associated. If the prior express written consent is to multiple entities, the entire list of entities to which the consumer is giving consent must be clearly and conspicuously displayed on, or I should say, to the consumer at the time consent is requested. To be clearly and conspicuously displayed, the list must, at a minimum, be displayed on the exact same web page where the consumer gives consent. And before we go any further, please give this video a like and subscribe if you're new. We're putting out new final expense, life insurance, and basically overall insurance sales content like every single week. All right, so let me read this and be clear. We're going to put this picture up on the screen for you. From the Federal Communications Commission, FCC adopts new rules to close the lead generator, robocall, and robo-texts loophole and facilitate blocking of unwanted robo-texts. So it's affecting texting and calling. Now, wait a minute. If you're thinking, oh, I don't mess with any of the robo stuff. What they did and what I'm going to share with you, and basically what I just already spoke of, was designed really mainly to get rid of those robocalls, those pesky robocalls, but it's inadvertently affecting you. If you're an insurance agent, I can guarantee if you are a life insurance agent or a final expense agent, this is most likely going to affect you. If you're working with one of those big multi-level marketing insurance agencies, here's the thing about those guys. They love to resell leads. You know, that's a big part of their platform. It's going to affect you too. So let me just read a little bit of this also. And this is from an article in, I believe it's a newspaper, Madison, Wisconsin. Attorney General Koshkal and a coalition of attorneys general provided input to the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, which has now amended a rule governing telemarketing communications requiring, here's the key, individual business to obtain written consent from consumers before sending robo-text and making robo-calls. So this next paragraph, this is where it gets interesting. Under the prior rule, the old way, lead generating businesses misled consumers who believed they were consenting to a single company's telecommunicate. They thought they were getting a call from one company. And then what happened is the data gets sold. And now they're getting calls from everybody, literally hundreds of unwanted calls, multiple businesses calling about everything. Inadvertently, the FCC new rule requires one-to-one consent, which prevents lead generators from obtaining consent on behalf of multiple businesses or sellers. Attorney General Call joined a bipartisan coalition of 29 attorney generals in filing a letter with the FCC in June, urging the commission to enact the one-to-one consent requirement. This new rule is another positive step in reducing the number of robocalls and robotexts that folks receive, said Attorney General Call. We must keep working to ensure that people aren't being inundated with robocalls. In other words, being harassed. I mean, that's what this is all about. Again, a common lead generation practice is to offer to give the consumer a quote for a good or service online, like insurance products. And in order to receive the quote, the consumer has to agree to receive calls and or texts from the lead generator's marketing partners. This often includes thousands of different businesses offering numerous different goods or services. Businesses are identified usually on a separate web page, only accessible via a hyperlink rather than listed outright. Wisconsin joined the June letter along with the attorney generals of Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, California. The list goes on, every single state, period. 4 things. Number 1, no more shared leads, including age leads, internet leads, and telemarketing leads, or calls to the same lead by multiple agents. This is going to affect agents, agency owners, and call centers and their agents 100%. So let me just say this once again. Data can't be sold. Okay, so what does that mean? As of today, I'm making this video before June of 2024. As of today, I can buy a data list and cold call people. It's legal for the company to sell me that list, and it's compliant for me to do that. And as long, assuming I'm buying a list that complies with FCC and FTC regulations. So in other words, the people aren't on a do not call list. So moving forward, these companies are basically out of business that are selling the data. They can't sell it. What are they going to do? Generate a name and sell it to one person? They can't resell the names, AKA leads. Number 2, no more calling or texting leads without consent. That means the cold calls, right? And of course, again, it knocks out the whole idea of buying a cold calling list or a cold calling door knocking list. Now you can still do that. They're not saying anything about that as long as the community that you're door knocking it's compliant to do that there or it's allowed there. But other than that, forget it. That's out. Number 3, who does this affect and why? So mainly companies with multiple agents calling the same leads. Where I live here in Vero Beach, I know there's a big final expense place that does that, like 10 minutes from where I live. Let's just say they're either going to keep doing what they're doing because they want to go out of business. And I think a lot of people are going to just keep doing it until they get caught. And then they're going to stop. Then they're going to have to figure out a different way to generate leads. I mean, to me, that's the way to do it. It's also going to affect independent insurance agents who buy telemarket leads and or transfers. Now, whoa, that's huge. As of right now, before June 2024, I can buy legal transfers. I can have transfers. In other words, what happens is the telemarket calls the prospect, says, hey, I'd like to connect you with an insurance agent. Is that okay? And then they transfer the call to the insurance agent. Today, that's legal. That's not going to be in June. Why? Because where do you think they got that data? They purchased the data. Exactly. Here's where it gets crazy. Number 4, and this is basically the bottom line. This is we're getting to the end of the video here. What can actually happen? What's the blowback? I want you to picture this, okay? I'm an insurance agent. I'm buying a telemarketed lead, which is legal in 2023 and not legal or compliant in 2024. So I buy regular offshore company, the cheapo beepo, $10, the ones that a lot of people are working, right? I buy that sucker. I call the prospect. One time he don't answer. What I don't realize is that he's an attorney who's got 10 different phone numbers set up, and they're doing this in every state. Right now, attorneys, this is how a lot of attorneys make their living. They basically just set up a bunch of phones, and what they do is they put the numbers on the do not call list, and then they sue insurance agents or people that call them to sell them goods. So now it's not even whether they're on the do not call list or not. It's whether they're even getting called. So they're going to, more and more attorneys are going to do this. Their business is going to triple. Lawsuits is going to triple. So here, again, I buy the lead. I call this number. It's actually an attorney. I call it again. No answer, no answer. Voicemail, no answer, no answer. I'm working the lead all week long. On the 10th dial, he answers the phone. Yes, I would love to buy. He's allowed to buy the insurance. Okay, now here's what happens. He buys the insurance from you. He has your information. So now he can sue you. He can sue your upline, whoever has the contract in between you and the insurance carrier. And then he can sue the insurance carrier. So if you sell, for example, Mutual of Omaha over the phone, boom, he's suing all three of you. Now, what's the fine? He can sue all three of you for $1,500 per violation. Each dial is a violation. You called the guy 10 times before he picks up. So he's suing you. It's probably, if you're new, it's putting you out of business. He's suing your upline. You think he's going to settle? If you use a non-compliant lead and you're one of my agents and I get sued because of it, do you think I'm going to let that slide? No, I'm suing you back. And then he's going to sue the insurance carrier. That's how it works, guys. That's why it is so important to follow these rules. Thankfully, once again, at our agency, United Final Expense Services, the way we generate our appointments and our leads, the clients, they actually see your photo. It's not a resale. We generate it for you, the agent, and they're going to see your photo. So we have no fear of this going south, and there's no reason for anybody to sue. Everything is recorded too, so we have proof of everything. Hopefully you got something out of this video. If you need to reach out to me, you can always reach me at Doug@UFESonline.com. For more information on our remote final expense sales platform, just shoot me an email there. And as always, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. So get out there and do something good for someone today, will you? Happy hunting.